Check that out. See that? Nature at its finest. So today what I wanted to get into is I wanted to share a couple things that have worked very well for me in my own personal journey, dealing with most situations that I can think of. And I believe that the idea behind this technology and the ability that we have are to share these skill sets. So what I want to do is I want to talk to you about actually creating a lasting change. And for me, it's a three-part series, or a three-part formula. I suppose that's better. And it goes as such, all right? Whatever kind of situation you're in right now, the very first thing that you need to do is accept that you're in that situation, okay? You can't change it right at this moment, but you are in it and you are consciously aware that you are dealing with the situation. It's very easy to deflect and believe that things are going to change and that's going to happen by something just falling out of the sky. That's not going to happen. So accepting where you're at and what you're dealing with is key for your mental health, for your success, to get you to where you want to be. If you like what you're hearing, please subscribe, tell your friends, do as you like. The second step that we're going to roll into right now is called doing uncomfortable work, which naturally follows acceptance. And why that is a natural following is simply because if you've been in a situation long enough, if you've been trying to figure out how to get out of whatever, it could be so many different things now. People struggle with a lot of different things, and that struggle really varies from person to person. But you know, for myself personally and statistically, one of the biggest things that gets in the way all the time is yourself. And you can chalk that up as ego, you can chalk it up as pride, whatever you want. But you need to understand that at a certain point, you need to cut that mentality off, because that's the same thing keeping you in this loop, which is why it's called doing uncomfortable work in step 2, because you have to go against what has become your current nature, perhaps what's been your nature your entire life. It really depends, and it depends on what kind of situation you're dealing with, which again is why these 3 steps are applicable in any kind of facet or mindset you can think of. Doing uncomfortable work is simply doing the things that you may have already known that you should be doing, or they're new to you, so you're not practiced, right? It's like having a job and being at the top, that company closes down, you go back to the bottom after however long being there. That's a hard blow. But the sooner you get to it, the sooner you accept it and start doing the work to get yourself back up to where you're going or where you want to be, the sooner you're going to achieve that. And the third part of this 3-part system is simply surrendering the outcome. This is one of the hardest ones for myself to personally do, because a lot of people want to control things that you have no ability to control at all. None. So if I accept and I do the uncomfortable work to make myself a new version or a different version of myself, I'm not going to use the word better, because a lot of times this takes practice, and that's what you got to understand. Patience is involved in this in every one of these steps. You're not just going to accept your situation overnight. You're not just going to agree to do uncomfortable work overnight, and you're not going to just surrender the outcome. You're going to have to try, practice, fall down, and get back up and keep moving forward. And the last thing I said is the most important. Practice, rinse, repeat, fall down, which you will fall down, but that is okay. You get back up and you learn from where that misstep is and you move forward. And that's what you're going to do, because I believe in you. We are all believing in you, and you're going to do what you should do for you. Because when you do that, you end up taking care of all of the other things downstream of that, which is likely what you're putting before yourself. So put yourself into the equation. Till next time, keep on shining. We out.